Welcome back, nerdy movie fans. Today we'll talk about Evil Dead Burn, and unlike some movies that have a themed title that doesn't really have much of a play in the actual film, there are rooms, vehicles, and people set ablaze in this film. So the Burn theme really does apply with this one. And man, a lot of people are saying this is either some of the most gruesome or some of the most violent one of the most violent Evil Dead movies, and I would agree with that because this one was actually pretty brutal. There's a lot of just things that it's unrealistic. It's an Evil Dead movie. There are things that just are unrealistic, but it just makes you sit there and wonder, if this happened for real, this would be like if some of the things that happen to these characters, I would be screaming in agony. I don't know how these characters. I know they're Deadites, but it's just the way it's shot. It looks really cool and it's fun for an Evil Dead film. Everyone saw the part of the trailer. If you've seen the trailer, where the car seat is sort of shoved through the person's throat, that's brutal. I mean, that's the kind of things I want in a horror movie. I just want to see something really nasty. I mean, that's what I've gotten from Evil Dead before. It's what I expect from Evil Dead now, and that's what I've got with this new one. So I was pleased. So before we sort of talk about the plot synopsis and the things I did like about this movie, because I did really enjoy it, kind of want to show you guys my Evil Dead collection. I'm an idiot, so the Evil Dead, the Groovy collection is sort of, I have it packed away and it's kind of difficult to get to, so I just don't have it to showcase for this video. But I do have the rest of my collection from Evil Dead to show you guys. So we'll sort of start with the first one. This is just the Blu-ray, but I have Evil Dead. This is the original one. I'll show you guys artwork at the front and the back as well. Now, I know a lot of Evil Dead posters now for the original. I see a lot of them have like the red theme. I really do like the blue. I think the blue artwork on this is just really incredible. I love the blue with it. I don't really know why. Maybe because blue is one of my favorite colors. Maybe because I love the way it blends with the white lettering on here. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I just really, really love the artwork and the color of this steelbook. So it's one of my favorites in my collection as far as horror movies are concerned. And so I don't have Evil Dead 2 on steelbook. There is an Evil Dead 2 steelbook that I was planning on getting, and I just didn't get it before it was currently unavailable on Amazon now, so I'm gonna get it eventually. But I do have Army of Darkness, and this one has some pretty crazy cover art. There's just a lot going on, but you know what? I love it. I didn't know what to expect from this movie when I saw it for the first time. I was told it's very different from the first two, and well, it is, but it's also just a fun time. I really enjoyed what was going on in this film. Because there was a lot, but it was so enjoyable. I loved Army of Darkness. I think this one is an incredible film. And then we go to 2013 Evil Dead, which I believe I have left out one. Let me grab one thing. And we're back. So I have the 4K, this is Scream Factory. This is the 4K copy of Evil Dead. This is the one from 2013. And as you can see from some of the images on the back, this is the one that sort of started to go away from the comedic aspect that the first three Evil Dead movies did have. I have not seen the show Ash vs. Evil Dead. I have heard incredible things about it, and I've heard that, or I've been told I would really enjoy it if I enjoy the rest of the movies. I just haven't got around to another show yet. But from what I've been able to hear, the show keeps the same theme from the first three movies. As far as the quality and the comedy aspect and all that stuff, it feels very similar to the first three. So for this one being much darker, I think there are just some people that prefer the comedic aspect, and there are some people that prefer the darker ones. But I think what's cool about it right now is we have Evil Dead Rise, Evil Dead Burn. We got 3 serious Evil Dead movies and 3 more comedic Evil Dead movies. So we sort of have half and half, and I think that's cool. We are getting Evil Dead Wrath, I believe is the title, and I don't know what the theme of that one will be, but I am excited for it nonetheless because I'm an Evil Dead fan and I'm going to see the next one anyway. So enough with this copy. We also have, I hope you guys have copies like this too, because they're really cool. I have the steelbook for Evil Dead 2013. This is also Scream Factory. Now, I will clarify for you guys. Yep, this is the 4K. So here's the front. This is a really cool steelbook. The back is sort of creepy as well. If you can see the face there with the trees and just all the stuff going on. This is an incredible steelbook. I really like what Scream Factory does with their steelbooks. But I didn't just stop here, because now I have 2 copies of Evil Dead 2013. So you would think I'd have enough, but it turns out I did not, and I ended up buying a 3rd copy. Anyway, so we have Evil Dead. Now this one's still sealed and everything. This is also Scream Factory. This is Evil Dead 2013. Again, I just really love the artwork on this one. I think this one's just creepy as hell. This is really, really neat. Love the artwork. I can't show you guys the back of the steelbook because it's still in the wrap. But this is, of course, in 4K. And, I mean, that cover, I mean, this is just cool. This is a really cool cover for a steelbook. And then, got a couple left. I have the steelbook for Evil Dead Rise. Now, I have to verify, I believe this is 4K as well, so I'm just going to make sure, and it is. So this is the 4K steelbook. So this is a pretty cool cover. The back is a cheese grater, and it was used in the film. If you've seen the film and you know what it's used for, it's just kind of one of those like, I don't like that kind of things. But you know what? This is pretty cool. Now, I feel like I really need to rewatch this one because I feel like there's a lot of people that really enjoyed this a lot more than me. Now, don't get me wrong. I haven't disliked any Evil Dead movie. If I had to personally rank them, I don't know what the entire order would be. I just know Evil Dead Rise would be at the bottom. But I still really like the movie. That's just because I enjoyed the others so much more than Rise. Not because I didn't like Rise. So I feel like I need to watch it again. I think I'd have a new appreciation for it, seeing it for a second time. I've only seen it once. So the steelbooks is in my collection. And then something that came in this month that's going to be part of the haul video, beginning of next month. So this is kind of a sneak peek, I guess. But I ordered the first Evil Dead steelbook in 4K. So this is what I'm talking about. It's got sort of that red color tone. This is really cool. I mean, this was just something incredible to have. Of course, this picture is sort of the same as the artwork on the back of the Blu-ray steelbook. So this is really cool. I wanted to have this in 4K because I believe the blue, that's the only one that's just a Blu-ray. I believe the rest of the copies are in 4K, including the Groovy collection that I have. I know the movies in that set are in 4K. I can't recall if the shows or not. I haven't looked at it really. But to have this first movie in 4K is really cool. So now that we've sort of established all of the Evil Dead movies in my collection, let's talk about Burn. This one is different because, like the original Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2013 and Evil Dead Rise, pretty much all of them except for Army of Darkness are set in this sort of one location kind of place, where the first one's set for a majority of the film just the cabin. The second one is mostly in the cabin. The remake, the 2013, is the cabin. Evil Dead Rise is the apartment building, and yes, they go more than just the apartment room, but it's generally a one location kind of movie. Evil Dead Burn is a little bit more than that. There's a couple different shots toward, or not shots, there's a couple sequences toward the beginning and then toward the end where there are multiple locations, where it's not just the main house, which of course they are in this main house for a majority of the movie, but there's more than just this one primary location. So this one, it focuses on a family. So because the names, the characters, the names weren't that memorable because most of them end up becoming Deadites anyway. So for the sake of this video, I'm just going to be lazy about it and call them by what they are. So we're going to say we got mom Deadite, we got dad Deadite, we got older brother, little brother girlfriend, and older brother girlfriend. That's what I'm just going to say for this. Or older brother was married to the girl. So toward the beginning, which this had an incredible entrance. The opening of this movie, of course, was not set in this main house location. Was an incredible opening about this Deadite being awakened and attacking a couple of people, and it was absolutely brutal. I mean, it was a brutal opening scene. And then we skip over to our 4 younger people, the 2 brothers, and who they're with. We have these 4 characters, we see how they interact with each other, and it seems like almost this toxic situation where no one really has a great relationship with the other person. And so older brother ends up speeding off after he gets really pissed at some of the people there, and he ends up crashing because of the Deadite that appears to him. And basically says, hey, we found you. So now the Deadites are targeting this family, and this older brother, his funeral, is where we see these characters come together, where some of them haven't seen each other in a while, and this is just where all these characters meet up again for projected for the rest of the movie. And so at this funeral, we get this really awkward, like tense situation between all of the relatives. Basically, the older brother, his wife, wasn't very liked by the rest of the family, except for his little brother. But mom and dad and grandma, grandma has her, I'm assuming, they don't list it in the movie, it's dementia is what it seems like. So she doesn't really have this automatic grudge against her, but the parents, older brother, they definitely have a grudge against her. And it's explained later on in the film, but it's very clear that she's not very liked by this family. And as the movie goes on, we see, of course, that the Deadites are creeping up on this family, and they start to take over one by one. We see that the father at the funeral, he goes into the morgue, and he sees his son basically come back to life and kill the guard there. And so we now know older brother's alive, but he's not really seen for a majority of the movie, for most of the rest of the movie. And so we get to this house. We know the father's corrupted now, and he ends up doing something that was my least favorite part of the film. He ends up murdering their dog. It's very sad. I don't like it when they do that in movies, but that's just, if I had to nitpick anything about the movie, that's something I didn't like. Aside from that, the rest of the movie was incredible. So after the dog is killed, the dog comes back as a Deadite as well. The father's a Deadite, and little brother and his girlfriend try to take the dad to hospital, because they don't know what's going on with him. He ends up killing his girlfriend. This is where the car seat through the neck scene comes in. And so we think dad's left for dead, but girlfriend comes back and wreaks havoc at the house, because now she's a Deadite as well and is attacking the rest of the family. And now the dad, the dog, the girlfriend are back. We get to learn a little bit more about how their little brother, older brother, their grandfather actually was a part of this cult trying to stop these Deadites. And so there's a weapon that he had collected at some point off screen, obviously, and this is how they're going to win against the Deadites. But there's a little more to it than that, because grandma ends up getting corrupted as well as all the fighting is going on. When girlfriend comes back to the house, that's where everyone's just constantly being attacked, and this is where the remaining characters are into hardcore survival mode. And so the grandma, as a Deadite, tells the mom, hey, the dad, you two can be together. Basically, I assume tells her, hey, your son can be together, the whole family can be together, just gotta find out where this dagger is, and so we can get rid of it. So she agrees. So she's not really Deadite, but she agrees. So she's helping them now, and it's basically just little brother and ex-wife now. And as they're trying to survive, little brother ends up getting killed as well. So ex-wife, she's now the sole survivor for this movie, and as she finally finds the dagger and is escaping this now burning house, hence Evil Dead Burn, she does escape temporarily, because now her husband is back. He has seen now, which is the first time in the movie since we saw him come back to life, pretty much. Even though we didn't see it, but we could tell what's going on. So, he's chasing her. They end up in another location where he ends up, of course, getting killed by this dagger. So she does have her victory. She has a dagger. She gets medical help. It's sort of happy ending. But there's a couple end credit scenes that we got to talk about. Now, I didn't stay for the second one. I watched a video of the second. It was just, I really had to race to the bathroom, so I didn't see the second end credit scene. But the first one, we see it as the grandma, who had apparently escaped the house, who is still a Deadite. So now we know there's one Deadite left that wasn't finished off. She doesn't have her legs anymore, so this passerby stops, hey, need help? She's like, oh, well, your legs will do. So basically, the gist of the scene is the Deadite now has a new host, and there's still a Deadite out there for what I assume becomes Evil Dead Wrath. Now, the second end credit scene is, as far as I watched, this character right here from Evil Dead Rise is back. How she's back, I don't think is explicitly explained yet. I feel like Evil Dead Wrath is going to dive into that a little bit deeper, but knowing that she is back is interesting because if she can come back, who else can come back? And so I think it just opens a lot of opportunity for this franchise to have either fun cameos or returning Deadites, returning characters. I think it just opens up a lot of opportunity, and I know that I feel like there's going to be some people that will want to push the brakes on the back to life cameos. However, I think for Evil Dead, because of the lore within Evil Dead, this franchise actually makes more sense to bring these kinds of characters back more than other franchises. I mean, we have characters like for the franchises Halloween, Friday the 13th, where these characters survive over and over and over again. So if we have one character from Evil Dead Rise being back, I don't think it's really much to complain about if we're only getting one character from this whole franchise. So regardless of what happens, if this character from Rise ends up just dying early on in the next film or actually becomes really important, whatever the case is, I'm excited to see where it's going. I don't know if Evil Dead Wrath is the legitimate, confirmed, 100% real title. But if it is, I think it's a really badass title. So I'm excited for the next Evil Dead, whether it's Evil Dead Wrath or Evil Dead Back Again, whatever they're going to call it. I'm excited. I've enjoyed this franchise so far. I know I need to watch the TV show, and I am going to before the next movie comes out. So that's my review of Evil Dead Burn. I really enjoyed it. If you guys want to see it, I definitely recommend checking this one out in theaters. The other thing about it is not only was the story interesting, the action was engaging. You start to feel for the characters I want you to feel for. So I feel like the target for the targeted emotions were, I think, perfected in a way where you feel for certain characters but not for others. I don't know how else to describe that, but the music, my God, it was epic. It feels like this is a culmination of the whole franchise, and this is your big, epic movie. I mean, even if the movie isn't considered the best among the whole franchise for people, the score in this one alone is the best in the franchise, and it's not even close. I mean, this felt so dark, so sinister, so epic. It felt like such a climax to every time the music just happened. I mean, it was incredible. I don't know how else to describe it. The music was absolutely on point with this one, and that was probably one of the coolest takeaways from this because I was not expecting to enjoy the music that much. So check out Evil Dead Rise. Maybe you'll like the music, like the story, the action. There's a bunch of that that this movie has going for it, and I think did a really good job. I enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Hopefully you guys enjoy my review. Keep it digging. Until next time, guys.